Hi, my name's Claire Denyer, and with my husband John Denyer, we run Family Dog Services based in Maidstone, Kent. We're behavioural trainers, but we do predominantly work with gun dog breeds, and one of my personal passions is working with reluctant retrievers and developing a really nice retrieve with dogs that maybe that doesn't come so naturally to. So I was absolutely delighted to be asked by Sue from Field and Fireside if I would test run her reluctant retriever dummy. So this is a nifty little piece of equipment that I have now in my training kit when I'm working with reluctant retrievers. So the way this works is you pop a treat into this little pouch at the end. It velcros shut so it's nice and secure, and it encourages the dog to understand that to get that treat they need to put that dummy in your hand. So you do need to do some processes to help the dog understand that that's how they get the reward. So the way that I personally do that with the majority of dogs I work with is I start by almost back chaining the retrieve and starting with the piece of the dummy in the hand and getting the treat. So I will work with one single treat and I will pop that treat in the pouch and just firmly push that down so that it's nice and tight. The velcro is really good, keeps it nice and secure. And what I'll do, depending on the dog, I might tease the dog with the toy, well the dummy in this case, tease the dog with the dummy and get them to catch it. And then I take it back from the dog, open the pouch and give them that reward. So so it's just one of the ways that you can start to develop the understanding from the dog's perspective that the way to get that treat is to put this dummy in your hand. Some dogs play catch. So actually if you've got a dog that plays catch, you can put the treat in the end, and rather than have to tease them to get them to take it from your hand, you could literally just throw it in the air and get the dog to catch it, and then, as I say, open the pouch and give the dog the treat. Once the dog understands that the way to get that treat is to put this dummy in your hand, then you can start to turn this into a retrieve. And I'd start with an informal retrieve, so I wouldn't be asking for any steadiness, there'd be no real formality. I might start to put the words in that I'm going to use on my formal retrieve, but what I do is I keep it really fun for the dog and encouraging for the dog so that they really want to play this game of fetch with me. Essentially you're playing a game of fetch with your dog, but you're using a dummy that's going to help transition your dog into more formal retrieves. So I might start by teasing the dog and just throwing it a short distance to start with. The dog picks it up, lifts their head, looks at you, you take that dummy from them, open the pouch and give them the treat. Once the dog is really enthusiastically returning informal retrieves, you can start to make that retrieve more formal. You might also want to consider using a retrieving lane or retrieving run, a long line, or even a lead if you're in any doubt that your dog's going to return the dummy to you straight away. But if you've done the prep work in the very first stages of the dog understanding that the best way and the quickest way to get that treat from you is to put the retrieving dummy in your hand, then it's unlikely your dog's going to do that. But you never know, so it is a good idea to do that if you're in any doubt. Okay, prevention better than cure with most things. So then when you move on to your formal retrieves, you're bringing the dog into that heel position to set them up for the retrieve. You're asking for your steadiness, you're lining them, but they're seeing you throw this retrieving aid out first, so actually the enthusiasm is still there, but you're just starting to put some formality into that retrieve. So you'll bring the dog into heel, you'll throw the dummy out, you'll send the dog, and if you've done your prep work, your dog should pick that dummy and bring it back to you ready for that reward. So one thing I will just mention, when I start to formalise the retrieve, I don't make every single retrieve formal. I will throw in the odd informal retrieve to keep the enthusiasm if necessary. And I will use this retrieving dummy to help teach the dog that even though we're now putting formality and steadiness into the retrieve, it's still really worthwhile and it's still really rewarding to bring that retrieving item back to your hand. So hopefully this little video has given you a little bit of insight into how you can introduce your reluctant retriever dummy and how you would progress the dog from just playing catch or a little bit of play and delivering to hand into an informal retrieve and then into a formal retrieve. Good luck with your training, and I hope your retrieving goes brilliantly.